Alright, hello everybody, Zaxtor99 back again with another First Play on Launch Day indie game review. This is Puke-Bot. If we look at it, guys, it looks like it's made in Unity. It looks like looks like it could be pretty fun. Looks like it has some pretty floaty controls. Okay. Alright, the amazing sci-fi platformer. Well, from what I'm seeing, I don't know that I'd call this amazing. It is $1.99. Swing, jump, and bounce through a futuristic city. Encounter various obstacles that will require your skills to overcome. Alright, so we got a couple of different levels here, it looks like. Okay. This looks really, it looks different, but it also looks very amateurish from what I'm seeing. Or like it's lacking a lot of effort and thought. But guys, this game comes to us from the developer Joshua Rojakers. Well, I think this name sounds familiar. We click on this, guys. Oh, a year ago, this guy came out with the amazing Steam hit, Toddler Shooter, that is only positively reviewed by a whole bunch of his friends over in the Netherlands. But to get an idea of what his first title was like a year ago, that title made Miss number 30. It was one of my first Miss videos of 2019. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of that. This guy is so brilliant. Look at this guy. This guy gets an idea. He wants to be Employee of the Month. Now watch this, guys. Get ready to hold those guts and that laughter in, because I'd hate for you to explode in laughter here. This guy imagines himself as Employee of the Month. That's funny, right? Oh, this is genius. I mean, how better can you spend $2 of your hard-earned money? And he's mad now. He's going to shoot everybody in the school, including innocent children. That's pretty freaking funny, right? Awkward. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave this craptastic gameplay with you. But as you watch, notice that enemies that are left unshot that go down the sides don't have any penalty at all for missing these shots. So why even take a risk? Your lives are shown at the bottom right. The number of kills you have are shown at the upper right-hand side. But notice as well, I can tell you that the controls are really bad. They have this really floaty feel, as you would expect. There's a couple of different power-ups that make you shoot pins faster. And, there's no real point of the game. Also notice that there's no sound effects at all for successful hits or for you getting hit and losing a life. Not even simple sound effects. All we have is this craptastic music in the background. The developer can't be bothered with putting in an actual scoring system or even the most simple of sound effects. That's how lazy of a game this is. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'll leave the rest of this epic gameplay to you. Have a good one, everybody. Take care. So yeah, guys, that is Toddler Shooter, a game where I thought the developer was purposely naming his game Toddler Shooter to incite anger and controversy to try to get clicks and sales on Steam. He came back later and said, no, it was just a meme between me and my friends, and all these images here were supposedly images of his teachers in his school. And then him and his little buddies from, 7th grade or whatever decided to come and bombard not only my review with a bunch of hate, but also bombarded my video review with a bunch of negative comments and hateful, name calling, etc., etc. So that is the developer of this game, Puke-Bot, a year later, who has now another game on Steam. Will Puke-Bot make another Miss series video? Will this become Miss number 82? Or perhaps could this game surprise me and make a Zaxtor's Indie Gold? We'll be back to find out right after this. Alright, welcome back everybody to yet another Unity game. This is Puke-Bot. And guys, I've already played a couple of times on two different modes. There's two different modes you can play with. They have tutorials and you have leaderboards. You see I have 122 as my high score on this particular mode here. And if we look at the leaderboard, we see, yeah, the developer is kicking butt here. But we only have like 15 total people who have played, and that includes all the developers' friends. I'm in the top 10, so I guess that's not absolutely horrible, right? But one thing here is, you notice you can't delete the score, so already we have a bug because there's no way, there doesn't seem to be any way to delete this score, should we want to. And the other mode is the fly mode that we've seen advertised in the trailer. And even this part right here is kind of buggy. It's like you have to click on the mode and you have to wait a few seconds for it to load. If you click it too many times, you'll end up going back. So for example, you might lose impatience, or you might see it not doing anything, and you might click it a couple of times, but you know, you just want to click it once and wait about five seconds or so, and it'll finally load up. So here's the main mode here, guys. We see that I got 576 on here. We do have settings here, WASD and rotate left, rotate right, and then speed boost is space. I've turned the volume way down just because the music's pretty obnoxious in my opinion. I don't really like the music in this game, but it's also, you can change the keys, the key bindings to whatever you want. So that's nice. We're gonna go ahead and leave it like that, and we're gonna go ahead and show you the game. So it just says click to play. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. Now you can do a tutorial too. Let's go ahead and do the tutorial here. So it kind of shows you hit up, hit down, left, right, and then left mouse button or right mouse button. Oops. Oh, I made it. No, I crashed. It made me do it again. Yeah, it's making me do the same thing again. Oh, I'm turning too far. Oh my god. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going too early. There we go. Alright, so the game is very, you got to have your timing exactly right, whether you're moving up, down, left, or right, or, rotating your plane. So let's go ahead and play the real game, shall we? Okay. Up. Alright. So this is really hard to see, in my opinion, like with all the cars the same color and everything. It's really hard to... Okay, this game is a big improvement over last year's game, the toddler shooter game, in my opinion. I think this game's a little bit too difficult, and... Oh, I think I had to go up there. Oh, then we have planes coming at us as well. Wow, I haven't noticed that before. Okay. Oh, we have to go under there. The biggest problem with this game that I think it needs is it needs sound effects for when you collide, and seeing an explosion or something like that would be really cool as well. I mean, even if it takes 3 seconds or whatever to have a boom, and show your plane exploding, that would just add so much more to this game. It's very difficult. Like I say, you have to be precise on... And sometimes it just seems like there's not enough time to do what you would need to do. So I couldn't slip through there. Okay. There we go. Do we go this way? No. Nope. So it's just learning the timing on this stuff. And then these cars, man, these guys are... Okay, let's go under here. Alright. Oh god. Oh god. Yeah, see, my problem is when it's just quietly, you don't hear a when you don't hear a crash or see yourself die or whatever, and it just resets you without any sound effects or whatever, it just comes off feeling like it's really cheap and lazy and not finished. I know the game's only $1.99, but this game could be so much better if you had some sound effects. Also, on the settings here, volume, let's have a music slider where we can turn this music all the way down, and then let's add some other sound effects, like hearing the sound of the plane, hearing the motor running in your plane would be really cool. And then when you crash, you stop hearing the motor running and you hear the plane crash. Also, maybe giving the player a little bit of leeway. So maybe you have the ability to hit your wings on the side of the building or whatever, and you kind of hear like clang. So instead of having you blow up, maybe you kind of hear a clang, and maybe it throws you off in a random direction. This is all stuff that can help you make your game a lot better, in my opinion. Sound effects, basic sound effects. I don't think I'm asking for a lot here. I mean, I like your left and right mouse button to rotate left and right. I think you got a game here. I think it's too hard right now, but again, I'm not going to play. This isn't the type of game that I'm going to sit here and play for 2 hours to get good at it. I hope you've made a game that you enjoy playing yourself, and you're not just trying to put a quickly rushed game out onto Steam. I would really advise a developer to put more time and effort into your games before launching them on Steam. Sound is very, very important. I'm just saying. But also, yeah, have two volumes. Have one for your music, and then have one for your sound effects, which I hope you add some later sound effects again. Hearing your engine running, hearing the explosion, or hearing a clank if maybe you ding a wing or whatever. And if you ding a wing, maybe it just kind of throws you off a little bit randomly for a second in a random direction or whatever. You'll have to play around with it to get it feeling right. But right now, it could just be so much better. So if we close this, guys, and we go to the delivery mode, this one here is just as hard. It's a little bit different, but if we come in here, you jump here. Oh, I jumped too early. So this one here is very unforgiving as well. So you have to do that, and then this is just weird here. Yeah, see? I mean, I could fumble around with this and get better at it, but nothing in this game is making me want to continue to play. And I don't know if it's the fact that there's no satisfying kill sounds. I think that if you blew up or whatever and it says you're dead, or nice try or something, maybe what it said is based on how many points you got, it would give you a little more reason or encouragement to play again. But with no sound effects in the game, I just don't want to play the game. So I encourage you to add some sound effects and maybe add things like, hey, nice try again, or, you suck, you can do better than that. Anything that shows you actually give a damn about your game. I see that you put 2 different modes in here, and for $1.99, you're definitely not asking too much. I like the city graphics that you have. I hope it's not from an asset kit. I don't think it is. But I suck at this game, and like I say, honestly, guys, I really don't have... And so you can go faster, I see. Yeah, that's just going to make it even harder. It's hard enough for me at level 1 here. I think your game's too damn hard. I think you need a beginner mode for one. A little more forgiving mode. But you definitely need sound effects, man. And if you're going to add the sound effects, like I say, you definitely need a volume, a music slider, and a sound effect slider, so that we can turn this music way the hell down and so we can actually hear these sound effects and explosions and stuff like that you put in. I highly encourage you to take my advice, add sound effects. I think you'll see that your game's a lot better just with that. And then work on maybe making an easier mode for knuckleheads like me. But also add things to it, help encourage you, like, oh man, you suck, you can do better than that, come on. Or really, maybe if you get over 25 points, you said, very nice play, or, over 50 points, he's like, wow, I'm impressed. Think of your own stuff, but anything like that, any kind of little simple encouragement, just base them on your score and how well you did, or where in the level you progressed to, or whatever. This isn't a game that I would play, guys. I don't really know that I recommend it in its current state, especially with no sound effects. And the game, in my opinion, the game's too damn difficult. I think most people are going to get frustrated and play it for 5 minutes and then be done. But then again, that's kind of the same thing for a lot of simple games like this that have any kind of challenge to them. I just think you can make your game a lot better. I'd like to see you put more effort in your game. This is a huge step up from Toddler Shooter from a year ago for sure. But guys, at $1.99, what's the value on this game for the average person? It's hard for me to really say. I think getting 2 hours out of this game is going to be kind of tough for most people, I think, that aren't friends of the developer. I honestly believe that a lot of the reviews on the Steam page have like 5 and 7 hours in this game or whatever. But I think that's just as friends, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they're just leaving the game running in the bottom task manager to make it look like they play the game longer than they have. I would genuinely challenge whether this developer's friends actually enjoy playing this game or not. I just think it could be a lot better. I think you could do a lot more with it. I think this game was... I think it could just be a lot better if you put more effort into it. I mean, the lack of sound effects shows that you really don't care a whole lot about the finished product and you're just rushing it out, in my opinion. But value, guys, out of 40 points, I don't think the value is really here, at least right out right now. Work with the game a little bit more, make it more fun, add sound effects, make a level where at least it's not so goddamn hard. I mean, on the other level, on the fly mode, you know, maybe make the spacing a little bit bigger and not so many cars where the cars are flying. You know, space these buildings out for a beginner mode or something like that. I think people could enjoy it a lot more if you didn't have it quite so difficult. Have some of these, you know, left, right, up, or down quite so close together. So spread some of this shit out for a beginner mode and get rid of some of these cars, for sure. I think that would be a good way to get people into the game, and then once they kind of get the feel of the game and they're not super frustrated, then they can come to this level here. That would be my advice. Yeah, I know I'm asking for a lot of effort, but I think your game would be much more appreciated and much more enjoyed if you took the time to do it, and if you took the time to add the sound effects, like I'm saying. Trying to give you advice here, because right now, as it is, I'm fighting to give you 10 points for value. I'm going to go ahead and give you 10 points for value just because I think at least your friends and people that know you are probably going to get those 2 hours out of the game to get it under $1 an hour. Next criteria is fun. How much fun is the game? Well, again, same things I've already talked about. Right now, I think the game's too damn hard, and it doesn't do enough to encourage me to keep playing. There's just not enough fun here, and the lack of sound effects and stuff like that hurts it as well. It just doesn't make me want to play it again and again to get better at it. So fun, guys, is going to be low again on this. Out of 30 points, 30 total possible points, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt again, and I'm going to give you 15 points here. I think the game could be a lot more fun. This is a more subjective part of my scoring. My 15 might be somebody else's 5, and it might be somebody else's 25. It's really the most subjective part of the scoring. Next criteria is controls and bugs. How does the game control? How are the bugs? The game controls just fine. I think, you know, when you're playing, it's a little bit, it feels a little bit floaty, but I think you'll get used to it. You know, it's very responsive. There's no doubt about that. So, but then again, it's a pretty simple game. The fact that there's no collision, well, there is collisions. It detects the collisions, and when you lose, it just doesn't show you that there's a collision. I kind of count that as a bug. I think you definitely need collisions and sound effects there. I'm going to knock you off there again. You're getting hit hard on these no sound effects and no collisions, man. 5 points is the penalty there. 15 points out of 30 is my score for controls and bugs. And then graphics and sound. The fact that there is no sounds at all except for music is going to hurt you here again. Pretty much your lack of sound effects and your being lazy on not putting sound effects is going to hurt you here, man. The music I don't really like. I think you could find... the music's okay, I guess. The graphics is... For this type of game, the graphics are just fine. I have no problem with the graphics. But your sound, again, is going to hurt you. I'm going to fight again to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give you 6 out of 10 here. If you had sound effects, you had good explosion sounds for when you hit stuff. If you added clings for when you basically narrowly hit your plane on a building or something like that, maybe you don't blow up, but you hear a clang, 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 you know, and it kind of threw you off to the side a little bit. That would be fucking cool. That would definitely increase my score for you. It showed that you actually care about your game and you put enough effort in to make it a better game. Coming back in and changing this these levels so that they're a little bit easier, like on this level, like I said, widening this path, making it so you don't have to be so quick to go left or right or up or down. You don't have to be quite so quick. Would definitely help my score here. So show me some effort. Put an update in, make the changes, add sound effects, make a beginner mode that's not quite so frustrating for new players, and I'll come back and rescore your game. But as it is right now, guys, we I said I gave it 10 out of 40 for value. I said I gave it 15 out of 30 for fun. That's 25. I said I gave it 15 out of 20 for controls and bugs is 40. And then I gave you 6 out of 10 for graphics and sound of 46%. So at least this time around, you didn't make a miss video. Typically it's under a 25 or 30% to make a miss video, depending. But you definitely scored well above that. So you're showing improvement. This game is much better, in my opinion, than last year's toddler shooter. So you're getting better. So my biggest encouragement is to continue to make games. But I'd really like to see you take a hold of this one and make this game the best game that it can be. Add sound effects, add a beginner mode. It's less frustrating for new players. Go for the clipping the plane wing, suggestion that I have. Throw that in your game. Figure out how to make it work. I challenge you as a developer, or as the developers who have made this, to take my suggestions to heart. I've been a gamer my whole life. I have a good knack for what'll be fun in these kind of games, and I make my own games as well. So the more you do this kind of stuff, the better you're going to get. Yes, you could just leave this as it is and go on to your next project, but I challenge you to take this game and make this game much better. I challenge you, man to man, make Puke-Bot a much better game, because it can be a much better game. Sound effects, explosions when you die, a beginner mode that's not quite so frustrating on both modes. And I'll come back and rescore you if you show me some effort. 46%, that's where I'm scoring you right now. And just be thankful it's not a missed video. Good job on improvement, and I'll give you credit for improving over your last game last year. Not a missed video, guys, but it's certainly a long ways away from being a Zaxtor's Indie Gold, which requires a 93 or higher. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Be sure you comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Did I score this developer's second game correctly? Do you agree with me? Thanks so much for watching, everybody. See you in the next one. Take care.